Today's review is sponsored by Seven the Musical, proving that not everything needs to be made into a musical.
Watch it, Alan, I'm shooting.
Rats, Night of Terror. Bruno Mattei, one of my favorite Italian exploitation directors. You could never really call his movies good, but you could definitely call them entertaining. I love Bruno Mattei movies, and what's interesting is the main hater of his movies was him. He wasn't a fan of his own movies, but he's earned a loyal fan base, and I'm one of them. Rats Night of Terror is an interesting movie. It's a killer animal flick, but also, for no real reason, it's a post-apocalyptic movie. The film takes place in 225 AB, after the bomb. We learn from a Star Wars-esque title crawl that there was a nuclear war in the year 2015. We all remember how inconvenient that was, right?
The few survivors of the disaster seek refuge under the ground. From that moment begins the era that will come to be called after the bomb.
Anyway, due to the nuclear fallout, the human race chose to live underground. But shortly after that, they split into two groups. Those that chose to remain underground, and those that chose to live on the surface like their ancestors did. This has almost nothing to do with the movie until the very, very end. We follow a group of surface dwellers dressed as Mad Max cosplayers as they explore this old warehouse filled with relics from the ancient world.
Look at that! This is sugar! It's sugar!
I said relics, and I mean it. As they search through the building, they come across this old science lab. They also find themselves at the mercy of this horde of intelligent rats who have developed a hankering for human flesh. Did I say horde of rats? I meant crew members standing off camera with buckets full of rats, hurling them at the actors. This is, unfortunately, one of those Italian movies where the animals involved were not treated very well. I've already stated my thoughts on this many times on this channel. This was a movie that was made in the past, and although I don't agree with what the filmmakers did, there's nothing I can do about it now. All we can do is admit that it was wrong and learn from it.
Open up! For God's sake! Back! Back!
Rats is a movie that has some interesting ideas that are relegated to the background. This is a post-apocalyptic movie that only serves to get killer rats involved in the story. The idea of two separate societies forming after the fall of civilization, those that live below ground and those who live above ground, is an interesting idea. True, it's been done many times, especially in post-apocalyptic movies. I refer you to A Boy and His Dog. But it's still an interesting concept. Not much is done with this idea. The group discovers a lab where the now dead scientists were trying to create a new food source, creating fresh water, creating new crops. But again, the lab only serves as a location for killer rats to show up.
The ones who came here ahead of us had discovered a way of artificially reproducing the things which once naturally grew on the surface of the earth.
The ideas here could make for some other good movies, but while those ideas aren't focused on, it does not negate the entertainment of this flick. It's true that it's a shame these ideas aren't the focus of the movie, but it's still a fun killer rat movie, in a so bad it's good way. The one thing you cannot say about Bruno Mattei is that he didn't try. Well, you can say that with a few of his movies. There are some of his flicks where he put in absolutely no effort, but for the majority of his movies, he put in legitimate effort. The costumes are fun. They look like they're right out of a Mad Max movie. A cheaply made Max movie, but they still give the movie a charm. It being a post-apocalyptic movie is unnecessary, but it gives the movie a good location for all this killer rat mayhem to take place. While I can't call Rats good, I can call it fun and well made. It's the goofiness of the flick that makes it so much fun. The acting is over the top. This being an Italian horror movie, everyone's dubbed, and that just makes everything even more over the top. And the performances are so enjoyably cheesy.
Christ, you dirty beast! That's why our water gets polluted! Shit!
There's this woman named Lilith who looks like she's always turned on. There's one line where it sounds like she's orgasming mid-sentence.
In the cell, we found strange and wonderful things!
Then there's the character Chocolate, played by Italian exploitation regular Geretta. You may remember her as the first woman who was possessed in Demons. She's entertaining as always.
Here, there's some flour in your hair!
And that's the main thing about these characters. You can tell that the actors were in on the absurdity of the plot, so they're all having a good time. This makes for entertaining and likable characters. The only character that gets annoying is this guy named Duke. He's one of those guys that complains about everything but doesn't come up with a plan of his own. You know he's going to betray the group, and he fucks everyone over on more than one occasion, but they refuse to tie him up, throw him out of the building, or kill him or anything.
We'll be killed if you don't! What's happening? I'm your leader now, whether you like it or not. And your new leader wants you to himself. Open the door, come on! It's desperate out here!
He does get aggravating, but for the most part, the characters are enjoyable to be around because of how cheesy their performances are. Then there's the real stars of this movie, the rats. Both real and fake ones. The movie tries hard to make these rats intimidating, but it fails in the best way. I am in fear for my life. There are movies that can make non-frightening animals threatening. The Birds, Willard, Lucio Fulci's Black Cat. There is a way to make cute animals seem scary. Rats doesn't quite do that. They still look cute even when they're killing people. Hello! The kills go from typical to perfectly absurd. The majority of these kills are rats flying in from nowhere to bite people to death. But you also have rats crawling up certain orifices, which results in death. You have rats making their way into people's body, and then making them explode. But the moments that give me the biggest shit-eating grin are the ones with the rubber rats. There are scenes where they're using obvious fake rats, and they're cheaply great.
Open the door, damn you! Oh! Luke, come on! Have pity on us! You can save us if you hurry! Never saw anything like it.
The movie does have a couple moments of padding. These drawn-out scenes of characters just walking around. The worst is when the characters are walking through the horde of rats very slowly. Step by step. Inch by inch, Niagara Falls, Kudos to anybody who gets that. And I'm sitting there watching this scene thinking, dear God, can we move on? I have no problem with slow movies, but I can't stand obvious padding. Luckily, there's only a couple scenes like that. For the most part, Rat's Night of Terror is an entertaining Italian killer rat horror movie. It's got fun over-the-top characters, fun over-the-top kills, a fun over-the-top ending. Needless to say, it's a fun over-the-top movie. And with that, let's get to the Grindhouse rankings. We've got a body count of 11, but that includes people who were found dead that we never met. The kills mostly consist of people being eaten alive by rats, but we also have an explosion, rats exploding from bodies, and death by rat up snatch. My fellow degenerates will love that one. There's some nudity with a couple having sex. We get full frontal of both the woman and the man. This is a so bad it's good movie. You're going to have fun with how silly everything is. It's the over-the-top nature of everything that makes this flick such a joy to watch. The characters are likable from how goofy they are, whether intentional or unintentional. There are a couple moments of padding which are boring, but the movie is mostly entertaining. And the ending is so silly that you can't help but love it. I'm giving this a 2.5 out of 5, but don't let the low rating fool you. This is a so bad it's good movie. I can't say it's great, but I can say it's amazing. As always, I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch and support this channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know some of your favorite so bad they're good movies. This is the Maniac, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. And if you couldn't tell from the fake sponsor at the beginning of this video, next time we're talking about Seven. I'm sorry I couldn't think of an ending joke for this one,